All right, we have 7 minutes left, and I really want to get to this story because this story is bonkers and it's going under the radar. Right now, it's going under the radar. It might blow up soon, but if you hear about it a week from now, just know you heard it here first. So this came out. This is the California Legislative Analyst Office released a report Monday detailing the urgent need to fix the state's broken unemployment insurance system, which currently faces significant financial challenges incurred during the pandemic, including an outstanding $20 billion loan from the federal government. This article is from Courthouse News Service. Quote, unless changes are made, the state will have no reserves when the next recession begins. The main problem with the system involves its lack of self-sufficiency, since the pandemic unemployment benefits have routinely outpaced incoming tax contributions, even during periods of relative economic stability. This has led to a costly reliance on federal loans and has constrained the state's options to expand benefits. The COVID pandemic tested the program, which saw record numbers of citizens applying for unemployment benefits, over 18.5 million initial claims in 2020 alone. Although the state entered the crisis with $3 billion in reserves, it was forced to borrow money from the federal government to meet its obligations. Now, that $20 billion federal loan is coming to rear its ugly head. The loan is projected to cost the state's general fund about $1 billion per year, and the unemployment program is expected to run a deficit of $2 billion each year for the next 5 years. I know I became a lawyer because I'm not good at math, but that sounds like a bad situation. If you're running a deficit and you need to pay back this $20 billion loan, and it's going to cost you $1 billion per year, and you're in the red $2 billion, I'm going to go ahead and say you don't have money to pay back that federal loan. Yep.
And I don't expect you to have the answer, but this is a real question. What state programs in California aren't in a deficit at this point?
That's a really good question. We'd have to really dig down deep and be like, what
there's
programs are?
So many programs that, like, yeah, now I'm actually curious about this because I think every week we talk about one of these programs. They don't know where they, $24 billion went. Is this $6 billion, this $1 billion, another bill, like in California alone.
Mm-hmm.
And now I actually found an article talking about this posted back in January of this year that this was projected. And you're right, nobody's been talking about it. But that was already a year ago. I mean, it was like January 12th, 2024. So yeah, there was an article literally talking about this. It didn't really seem to get picked up. And obviously, Gavin Newsom and the legislators didn't do anything about this. This department didn't seem to do anything about this. It just they just swept it under the rug and carried on.
Yeah. And they know this loan has been, 2020, they had to take this loan out, and it's been 4 years and it's been hanging over everyone's head. So instead of saying, okay, guys, we took out this big loan, we got to address it, or it's going to be a catastrophe, Newsom's having a special legislative session and looking for $25 million just for the Department of Justice to sue Donald Trump. These are the priorities. And that's the problem with California right now is everybody wants to enact their utopian policy, their utopian progressive policy. Scott Wiener's got about 20 utopian policies every year he wants to enact. But at a certain point, the grownups in the room have to go this loan is going to ruin our unemployment system. We're not going to have unemployment money.
Don't we have the highest unemployment in the country? Or second, something, or the top? Yes, we're leading in something.
Probably check that right now.
We're leading in all the wrong areas. We're at the top for all the homelessness, unemployment. So what does this mean? I mean, besides the fact that we have no money and we're spending money we don't have, that's not really my question. Is there a solution to this? How do they fix this? Do you know what happens if it doesn't get, where does this go?
All right. So what happens is if the state can't pay back the loan, out of the general fund like it's supposed to. So out of the taxes, because that's the only way
General
government
fund is
makes it.
covering a lot of things. Like, I would love to know how many times we've talked about this general fund this year.
Well, it's where it's coming from is they got to pay it out of the general fund, but the general fund is a little thin right now because it's running at a deficit, and they're still trying to enact all of their utopian policies. So what happens is if they default on this loan, I remember reading this a while back, and again, no one really picked up on this story and how crazy this is. If they default, the agreement is with the federal government, they automatically enact a tax on all businesses in California. Like, businesses in California will have to shoulder and pay back the loan that the California state government couldn't and that they defaulted on. So California's mismanagement of this loan will directly impact business owners because they end up paying for it, which to me sounds like the craziest thing, that you are punishing people who had no issue with mismanaging this, like, and now you punish the people who are trying to create tax revenue in the state. It's mind-boggling to me. But yeah, that's what happens if they default. It falls on the business owners in California, and they have to pay it back. It's just part of like this federal program and the federal loan.
We already killed so many small businesses during COVID shutdowns. And now some of them recovered, some of them never opened again. There's of course new businesses, but now we already see, like, I think Tesla's like threatening to leave.
Yeah, the last remaining Tesla thing, which is the manufacturing up in Fremont.
And who knows then if he'll take X and space, what's it called?
SpaceX, yeah. Which
SpaceX, is now, like
yeah.
If this gets enacted, I could see how so many of them would leave, but then this is going to really kill small businesses.
Yeah, because they would have to they'd be on the hook for paying this all back.
My dad is a small business owner.
Mm-hmm.
Was a small business owner my entire life, still is. I only ever worked for small businesses. And then my husband is a small business owner. Like, my entire life, bread and butter has been paid for. And like, my food, I eat because of small businesses. And why are we not more small business friendly? Why are we not more like, why are we just not? Why can't we get some people who know how to handle a budget? We really, really need to. You guys, these elections matter so much. And I know we just had one, and we're not gonna have one for another 2 years, but it's like, it's maddening that we keep re-electing these people who are doing this, and then they're the reason that your small business isn't thriving.
Yeah. Well, we did better this election cycle. I was very proud of how far we came this election cycle. And we did that progress to purple thing. So do you want to hear the proposals or recommendations that they have laid out to solve this $20 billion loan issue? I'm going to warn you right now, none of them are good. None of them sound great. In fact, I know the chat is going wild right now with people talking about this. Buckle up, because this is really going to infuriate you. So first, the report recommends dramatically increasing California's taxable wage base, currently the lowest in the nation, from $7,000 to $46,800. Currently, funds for the program aren't drawn from employees' entire annual wages, just the first $7,000 they make. So that would mean instead of the first $7,000 you make, it would be the first $46,800 you make. They would start pulling taxes to fill up the unemployment fund. And for a lot of people, who does that really hurt? Middle to lower income families. So cool. That's great. I'm sure people will enjoy that.
Which is, I think, the majority of California.
Sadly, a lot of people are just trying to struggle to get by. The analyst's office said this higher base would increase the amount of revenue the state can generate for unemployment benefits by putting it in the top 10 states ranked by taxable wage bases. So first thing, right off the bat, increase taxes.
Of course.
Second, the office recommended redesigning the tax structure with a standard rate base in mind. At this standard rate, The program could cover its usual costs, and when the state needs to build a cushion for itself, it could levy a temporary reserve building rate on top of it until savings targets are met. Now, I don't know about you. I do not trust the California state government to have a mechanism to temporarily raise your tax rates and then trust that they're going to make it go back to the normal tax rate after they have their savings.
Nope. They'll up it, and then maybe a few years they'll lower it by a little bit, but it'll still be higher than it was, and they'll be like, "Oh, but we lowered it. We lowered taxes."
Yeah, we lowered it. Third, the office recommended a new system that bases employers' tax rates on increases or decreases in their employment rather than an exact accounting of their former workers' unemployment insurance costs under the current scheme. So, congratulations, if you get a job and you work hard and you get a good job, your tax rate will go up. So, as your reward for working hard and getting a job and being gainfully employed in California, they will increase your taxes. So, another stellar proposition. I know, I can see it all over your face. You are full of glee with these choices. Finally, the office advised the state to refinance its current $20 billion federal loan to share the burden carried by businesses in the form of a revenue bond paid back by employers and new borrowing to be paid back by the general fund.
Oh, that general fund.
So another bond that they would issue.
General fund feels like the little jar in 7-Eleven where there's like pennies. Like, need a penny? Take a penny.
Need a penny, take a penny, and sooner or later it's just going to be a bunch of IOUs. Somebody said so they can raise taxes for their overspending when they want to. Basically, all of those solutions include raising your taxes because there's no way the government makes money. They don't produce anything. The only way they make money in this world is by taxing you and taking your income. So all those solutions sound like the same solution, which is we have to raise taxes. So yeah, that's a story that I'm surprised not more people are talking about. That is, I mean, it is literally headed for calamity, our unemployment system, and they haven't increased. Keep in mind, it is facing calamity. They have not increased unemployment benefits since 2004. Now, I don't know if anyone's old enough to remember me. I mean, I'm old enough to remember 2004.
2014, 2004?
No, 20 years ago, they have not raised or increased unemployment benefits. It's been stuck at $450 a week for 20 years. So something has gone terribly wrong where unemployment is facing bankruptcy and collapse. They haven't increased how much they're giving out, but somehow they don't have any money to do so. Like, that just shows there's a mismanagement of well, it's not because unemployment costs went up. Something happened here. And maybe $450 was a lot of money in 2004. In California, I don't think $450 a week is really getting you much of anything. Hey, thanks for checking out the California Underground Podcast. If you enjoyed that clip, make sure you subscribe, like, share, review, comment, all that stuff that helps with the algorithm, helps people find us more. And if you want to learn more, you can always listen to our full podcast at Apple, Spotify, Google, all those different places that you basically find podcasts. Or if you just want to keep watching clips, you can check out clips here, or you can subscribe to our channel right here, somewhere in here.